Hello, this is Steven Chavez, Dorado Surfaces, coming to you live, episode 2 from Kremlin, Colorado. If you guys tuned in for episode 1, you'll know that I am filming this episode 1 and 2 from my car. I am going to be doing a lot more of these episodes from quarries, factories, kind of all over the place, typically not in a studio or office. So from episode 1, we talked about the actual Chinese tariff and the percentage that quartz countertops are going to be going up based on the 2-part tariff. Part 1 is the Trump initiated tariff, 10% now going up to 25%. The second part of the tariff is the anti-dumping case that was pushed on by Cambria, and that is going to be somewhere in the 35% range, up or down, meaning it's the preliminary decision was 35%. That could go down to 0%. It could go up to 300% or even more, depending on the court's final decision. And the court's final decision has not been made yet. So one of the questions people asked is that tariff one or the other? Meaning, do you just choose which tariff you're paying, and you know, if you're paying the 10 or 25%, or if you're paying just the anti-dumping 35%? No, it's both. So if the anti-dumping case holds up in court, and let's just say hypothetically it's 35%, by January it's going to be 25% from Trump plus the 35% from the anti-dumping, so it's going to be 60%, so 60% on all quartz countertops imported from China. The episode today, I wanted to talk about how that's going to affect the supply of soapstone. So it's your supply and demand of the product on a global scale. So here's the facts. 60% estimated of the quartz manufactured globally is coming out of China. So if you take all of the quartz from every country in the world, that's 100%, right? 60% of that, 60, is being manufactured in China. So only 40% of the global demand for quartz is being manufactured outside of China. That's a staggering figure. So of the 40%, 20% of that is being manufactured by Silestone, Caesar Stone, Han Stone, Vico Stone, Cambria, kind of the bigger brands of quartz that are out there and are exclusive to those brands. So that means it only leaves 20% of capacity in other countries outside of China, such as Vietnam, India, Korea, and these other countries. So what's happened is some of the larger distributors in the United States and the world, I'm going to refer to these guys as the big box distributors, have raced out of China and gone into India and Vietnam and some of these other countries, and are frantically trying to find factories that can make their product for them. Quartz is more than 50% of the overall countertop product right now being used. You know, granite is, you know, probably in the 40% range, or I should say granite, marble, quartzite. That whole natural stone is probably 40%, but quartz is a larger share of the countertop industry today. So these big box distributors are frantically trying to tie up factories outside of China to get their quartz product made where there's not a tariff affecting the imports of those quartz countertop slabs. So the reality is there's a supply and demand issue. There is more demand for quartz right now in the world than is currently being produced. So what does that mean to you? There's just every distributor on the planet is going to have a shortfall of quartz countertops. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a turn back to natural stone, granites, quartzites, marbles, things like that. And that's going to be caused because there simply is just not enough quartz to go around anymore. Or if people choose to bring quartz in from China and pay the 60% tariff or duty, then quartz prices are going to go up dramatically. And you guys have already seen it. You've already seen the big box stores increase their prices. I've heard everything from 10 to 50% increases across the board on majority of brands, even brands that are not manufactured in China. And the reason being is, on a global scale, the raw quartz aggregate that comes from the quarry, those prices have gone up. And you'd say, well, why did those prices go up? Well, think about it. If 60% of the factories in the world all of a sudden got shut down by this quartz tariff, and what I mean by shut down is their exports to the United States halted overnight. You know, some of these guys also sell to Europe and, you know, Australia and other parts of the world, but the United States market is the largest market for quartz. So their largest customer, the United States, all of a sudden stops buying from them. Their production just gets like cut way down. I'd say like it's slashed in half, if not more. So a lot of these factories literally stopped producing. I know factory owners that are like, yeah, we're just shutting our doors until we know more about what the final tariff is going to be. They're not even producing slabs right now. Send their workers home and stop producing altogether. So as the quartz tariff is affecting the quartz factories, they have quit buying the raw material from these quarries. So these quarries, which once would produce, you know, tens of thousands of tons of raw material, now are producing a fraction of that. So a lot of these quarries have shut down. So the raw material, there's a shortage on raw material now. And, you know, people think just because a quartz supplier is making quartz countertops in, let's say, Georgia or Tennessee or Minnesota, wherever they're producing it, Canada, you know, Israel, Spain, that the quartz comes from that country. That's wrong. If you look at the quartz suppliers, the actual mines of quartz, the quarries of quartz, they're all over the world. So you might be manufacturing a slab in, let's say, Georgia. Your factory might be in Georgia, but you're buying the raw material from other countries outside the United States. So other prices on quartz have gone up as well, even if they're not manufacturing in China, because they still have to buy the raw material from mines, quarries outside the United States. So as a whole, you are going to see the new problem in quartz is not going to be pricing. It seemed like over the last couple of years that was a major battle with us distributors with quartz was, you know, people would call us and say, hey, I need X amount of slabs for a project, and, you know, price was a big concern. It was like, well, I can get it from XYZ distributor for, you know, 10 cents or 25 cents less a square foot. You know, what can you do for me? The new problem, and we've already seen it, is not what's your best price, it's do you actually have it in stock? Because there is a huge shortage of quartz slabs in the market today, and that's going to continue to get worse as the time goes on. So that's episode 2. I'm going to be continuing many more episodes on this topic. The next topic, it's going to be how have factories around the world been affected by this, and as these big box distributors have moved to other countries, you know, India and Vietnam and Turkey and Korea, these other countries, what problems are those factories in these other countries facing? It's quite amazing what's happening over there. That's going to be episode 3. Episode 4 is going to be how has this affected the shipping industry. I was talking to a major carrier out of China yesterday and the problems that they're having. They're literally sending half of their boats to other countries right now empty, just sitting there because they're so concerned about this Chinese tariff situation and, you know, the effect that's having on American companies. And we're already seeing it is, you know, major companies are already going bankrupt over this. That's going to be episode 4. So anyways, Steven Chavez, Dorado Surfaces, coming to you from my car, Kremlin, Colorado, driving to Denver, and looking forward to catching you on the next episode. Tune in about a week. Thanks, guys. Bye.